Having reflected over this past year, as we tend to do around Thanksgiving, right? We spend some time thinking. For most of you, this was and probably still is a difficult year. I'm speaking to a family this morning. Understand that. And if you're not a part of our family, you can listen in and take what you can from it. This has not been an easy year for families. This has not been an easy year for economic reasons. This has not been an easy year as it seems like things wax worse and worse in our world we live in. And I can tell you as a member of the family that this has not been an easy year on a personal level for me either. It's been difficult. There's been some difficult things, and many of you understand some of that there have been temptations to give up in the work of the Lord, to give in to unfaithfulness. And sometimes I find myself, when things get difficult, when relationships get strained, when there are attacks, when there are things that hurt deeply, can have the tendency, and I know you probably feel the same way at times, to go into survival mode. I've just got to get through the next day. I've just got to get through this week. I just got to get through this year. 2010 will be better. And I don't like living in survival mode. The song we just sang is about conquering, about going forward, about the glory and the strength found in Jesus Christ that we have as believers, and we are more than conquerors through Him that loved us. And so I don't like survival mode. And yet my flesh seeks that at times. And I've known myself for quite some time. I've gotten to know pretty good. I've learned that when I get increasingly full of stress or trials become overwhelming, that I need to run quickly to the Word of God to repair the breaks in the spiritual walls in my heart. I had to run quickly to the Word of God. Only the Spirit of God, through the Word of God, can repair that which this world and my flesh tear down. And He will use the Word of God to do the repairing. What a treat it is to have the very breath of God in print form to encourage our hearts and to challenge our spirits when we feel the walls caving in on us. In case you are feeling that even today, I challenge you, read Psalms. Psalms is the record of a man in leadership who felt the walls caving in. And he found his continual delight in God, in the relationship with Him. There is a word, though, that does not really describe the age in which we live. We work, raise families, minister, and that word, sadly, is gratitude. We should just probably face it up front right now. We, by nature, are not grateful people. We, by nature, are selfish people. Selfishness is better termed self-worship. We are self-worshipers. That's what we do. That is our flesh. The word gratitude you won't find translated in almost any translation of the Bible very often. But the concept of gratitude is a main line, a main theme from Genesis through Revelation. And we find it in such words negatively in the Bible as murmuring, complaining, grumbling. It's a lack of gratitude. We find it in the positive sense in New Testament language. The word is Eucharisto in the Greek. Words that are translated many times thankfulness, thanksgiving, thankful, thanks. Eucharisto is a derivative of two words, eus, which is good, and charistos, gifts. And so the very root of the idea of thankfulness is recognizing good gifts. It's realizing that we have good gifts. And as believers in Jesus Christ, we have the greatest gift of all. We have redemption. We have salvation. We have forgiveness. We have the sealing of the Spirit. We have been chosen in Him from before the foundation of the world. We are His family. We are His bride, His gift. So I want to challenge our hearts and minds this morning with a very practical message, one that I know I need to hear. The reality is God gives me so much good gifts. He gives me so much to be thankful for. And speaking frankly as another member of the family, just this past week, a trial rose in my personal life. And my immediate response was, why, God? Why are you doing this? After all, I just spent a week serving you in Phoenix. I just preached down there. Why did you bring this to my attention? Why did you do this? And I'm sad to say that is a pitiful, pitiful response. That is pitiful. So God decides to have me preach on gratitude because He wants to sanctify me. He wants to change me. Romans chapter 1 speaks something of a lack of gratitude and really the dangers of being unthankful, the dangers of being ungrateful people. The reason I tell you about that personal illustration is to let you know that I should be sitting there today. I should be hearing this. I am listening to this. This is for me. So I'm going to have a conversation with my spirit in the Word of God, and you can listen in. This is for me. Romans chapter 1. In Romans 1 through 17, or 1 through 17, Paul gloriously describes the revelation of God. God's righteousness, God's wrath, God's justice, and God's mercy is all revealed by God. He doesn't hold anything back. He shows us everything that we need to know, everything we need to live. And it's revealed in so many different ways. Verse 18 says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of God," we can know God, "and that which may be known of God is manifest in them," is shown to them. Who? All mankind. "For God hath showed it unto them." And he says how here? In verse 20, "For the invisible things of Him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even His eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse." Mankind has God revealed in creation. We have the revelation of God in what we see, and not necessarily just the beauty of God in what we see. The wrath and righteousness of God is revealed in what we see. We live in a fallen creation. And therefore, when we look out and we see the beauty of the mountains, we not only see the creative nature of God, we also see the judgment of God, and that those mountains at one point in human history got turned upside down and all over from a global flood and judgment. We did get an opportunity going down to Phoenix to stop and see the Grand Canyon. Big ditch. Made by God. Well, when God makes a ditch, He makes a ditch. Beautiful colors, beautiful thing, and yet is a testament to God's judgment, because it was through the flood waters ripping through that low valley that created that. The flood waters as a result of man's sin. So all of God is revealed in creation. His goodness, His creativeness, and His mercy, and His justice, His righteousness. But verse 21 says, because that when they are without excuse, because that when they knew God, He's been revealed, they can know God, they glorified Him not as God, neither were thankful, but became vain in their imaginations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Professing themselves to be wise, they became fools, and changed the glory of the uncorruptible God into an image made like to corruptible man, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creeping things. Wherefore, because of this, God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves, who," that's these people, "changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator." That's self-worship. That's ingratitude, self-worship. Worship and serving the creature, that which is created, more than the one who created. Who